Hey folks, Jonathan here. Alright, got me a guard cat. Keep an eye on everything. Look at that. She's on the ball now. She's gonna come see me. Break the camera out, you gotta come running, don't you? Huh? Yeah. Alright. Alright, so been working away. Got me a few more things up here. I think I'm going to let a guy know buy this one. It's been completely redone. It's a really nice one, and I was actually going to use it. I don't know if this one works or not. I need to test it. I do know that one does work, and it's been calibrated. It's perfect. So anyway, it may or may not go. Picked up a few more foundry patterns, stuff like that. Anything I can get a hold of. All right, let's look at the building. All right, antenna's on, poles are set. I had some 6.5-inch poles that I used, and they're just old poles. Come from a store that had signs up, but they're 6.5-inch, quarter-inch wall steel, so you know they're not going anywhere. And got all the tin up, getting ready to start patching some nail holes that's in the tin. So I still got the director here, but the cables are loose on it. I had the weight off of it while this concrete was setting. So we've got all that finished and done. As you can see, little nail holes here and there. So I'll go from the bottom side and actually patch them with, not patch them, but actually put Permatex in them, and just push it up in, and it'll seal them up. Good enough for what we need. And but anyway, roof's up, the roof's here. The tin come off of a turkey house I bought it cheap, and you can see how I done the boards, and just put bolts with washers on it to be able to hold them on, and they're not going anywhere. The new trailers now, equipment trailers and stuff, they're actually putting the boards on like that because the boards expand and contract. They don't do it lengthwise. A board will expand and contract widthwise, and that keeps them from shearing the bolts off when they do, or cracking. And but we've got plenty of cross members up here. I actually was on the roof all over the place, walking around, crawling around, climbing around, so there's no issues there. It's all screwed down, ready to go. All right, let's get to work. We've got Jordan, my son, of course most of you know, helping us out today. He's firing the boiler, and we're going to run a few engines today. We're going to run the engine that my wife bought for me for our 30th wedding anniversary, right here. Now, this engine was bought in the early 70s by a guy out of a sawmill, planer mill in South Carolina, Richland, I think. Anyway, the Richfield or something like that. So what had happened was he had it in a building up until 1983. They had a rash of tornadoes, 83 or 84. They had a rash of tornadoes come through and take a bunch of buildings down in South Carolina, and this was in a building, and the building disappeared, and of course the engine stayed. So he bought it, like I said, in the early 70s, but he never ran it. Now I have run this on air one time, but it has not been run on steam in over 50 years. So he said that the factory had shut down sometime, or the mill had shut down sometime in the 60s. So Nana Cat, we got Nana here with us. So we're going to, she's been worrying about squirrels here lately. We had 2 little baby squirrels fall out of the top of my building up here, where they get up there and tear up my expensive insulation. So I had 2 falls. So anyway, my wife's got one of them in there. The other one, the mama did come back and finally get it, but the other one she wouldn't come back for. So Nana's probably hunting for squirrel dinner, squirrel legs. But so that's the deal. Let's see, I got an oiler leak, and this oiler was on a air compressor that I picked up. I got another one like it that Gene Foster gave me that It goes on the Frick engine, but it's in a lot better shape than this one. But this one here was on an air compressor that I bought, a Pennsylvania compressor. I've got two of them now. Don't know where it's leaking at though. That's what's bothering me. I can't find the leak, but it'll be okay. It should hopefully oil today. And then I've got one of the drip lubricators leaking, drip oilers. That's okay. So I had to do some work yesterday. Had a broken fitting in the eccentric strap. Finally got it apart and got it out, and had another broken fitting on the center of the crank. We went ahead and put grease cups instead of oil cups in there, and so that'll do fine. So we're hoping it's going to run. We got 2-inch line running all the way. Got some T's there, got a drain here, and running all the way over to the top where our coreless engine's plumbed in. We're going to see how much draw it does when we turn it on. But anyway, that's the deal. All right, so another thing too is I wanted to tell everyone is I've got a friend that's coming today that I'm actually friends with his son also, but his name's Mike, and I done a video one time, some of you may remember, built a go-kart back in the 50s or 60s or something. I'd done a video on it, and he was telling us about it. It had a little Harley Hummer engine on it. But anyway, so he looked at this engine here back in the 80s and knew about it before the 80s. And this was looked at by a lot of different people, and nobody really wanted to mess with it because too many parts was missing on it. So he is going to get to come see it run for the first time, and he's pretty excited about it. And the squirrel that fell out of the tree. Ain't big enough for a sandwich. Alright, so we're going to fire this, see if it runs. So give me just a second. Too many packings on the valve. Drain the water out. Got a package here leaking pretty darn bad on the valve, but we'll see what happens when it gets running. But we're getting the water out of the cylinder right now. Heating the cylinder up. Alright folks, he's running. Hard to tell because of the exhaust. We don't have it ran, but it's not leaking terrible. Not running bad at all. Alright, we'll let it run here a little bit. Sounds pretty good. The roller's on. Alright, I wish I had exhaust on it. I didn't have a flange for it. It takes a 6-bolt flange. Boy, oh boy, the steam. So as soon as I get a flange, I got 4-inch pipe. I got some 4-inch Schedule 10 that I can't use for steam pipes. So we'll run an exhaust pipe up and out. Got one little tiny bit of a little noise in it. Now, I adjusted all this when I put it together, but just a little bit, which is fine. We'll go back and readjust. The roller's on. We're gripping pretty good. Yeah, that noise could be in the crosshead up here too. It's not nothing major, but we'll get it. See if we can slow her down a little bit. Alright folks. We got 5 engines running. Cordless. This upright. 10 horsepower. And then this one, which we're still just running slow. I hadn't shut it down yet. Mechanical lubricator's open. Oil and good, everything's good to go on it. We're just going to keep on running it. It hadn't run in 50 years, so might as well run for a few hours anyway. Alright. It's nice to have a boiler big enough to keep pressure up on everything. Alright folks, we're through running. Engine done really well. A couple little things we got to take care of. One thing is a little bit of a noise, not bad, but just a little bit of a noise we want to get figured out. We got a hydrostatic lubricator that's leaking. We've got to get an exhaust on it because there's so much steam here, it's kind of aggravating. And let me see, I got some oilers. This oiler here is leaking. Got to fix. I had to oil it from here because there's supposed to be a wick on this one that comes around and hits it. And so we didn't use it. I just oiled straight there. Everything oiled good, so we didn't have any problems there. We ran this one for probably 6 hours. First time it's ran since 1970 maybe. About 50 years, and ran it for about 6 hours. Ran the cordless for about 6 hours, and then ran the little red engine on and off, and the horse and a half on and off. And Mike, my buddy, like I said, I think he's 85, might be a little older than that, but he got to come see this one run. He said it was 80 or 81 since he'd seen it. When they went and looked at it, he went with 2 other guys down there that was interested in buying it, and nobody bought it. And he said the same reason that I was always told is because there was too much missing. There was brass, the brass parts and stuff was missing on it. So nobody really wanted to mess with it. There's still got some stuff I got to do. I mean, it's not complete by any means. We're going to take it back down, all this back down, and do some, little changing, a little work on it, and then clean it up, paint it, and then put it all back together for the final time. And right now I'm working on the Erie engine and the Hamilton. We're getting stuff made for them. Trying to do some threading on some rod for the Erie engine for the valve, and I have surfaced the valve and the D-cup valve, so we got that part done. We got the paint on it, but of course we've had a lot of rain and a little bit of everything else, so it don't look great. But I mean, we can clean it back off, not a big deal. I just didn't want all of Vic's work to get turned into a more rust or anything, so went with that early black look. It's a not a gloss black and not a flat black, but like a satin black or a low gloss black's what they call it. So we're going to start on the foundation in here. We got the cars moved back. Look at all the leaves, can you believe that? But anyway, so I've got quite a bit in here to do. We're going to eventually put the cars in another building I've got, and then we're going to close the back section off and put engines in it. And we're going to go ahead and get these big engines set up under the tall section here. So that's what we're working on. I drew the foundation for this one the other day, and I'm going to go ahead and draw the other one because I just as well have all the concrete brought at once, and we'll do both of them. And we're going to take this beam out, this right here, and move that sign and stuff and open this up to make it all open. So all these engines will be in a row, be lined up. Alright, so anyway, I had a good day. This engine turned out really good. We're going to get it cleaned back up here and fix a few little things and slow down the oil a little bit. I think I fed a little bit too much oil into it. You can see that. Which, like I said, I got one oiler leaking. We got this leaking. I'm going to pull it back off and see where it's leaking from, because I can't quite figure it out. It's not leaking there, and it's not leaking from around the shaft. So I don't know what, it's not leaking from here. Didn't think there was anything in the bottom that could let it leak, but we're going to figure that out. But it worked really well. Seemed like it done a really good job. I had to do some work on this one, and it worked flawlessly. It worked really good, believe it or not, this time. No issues, but I did already get our one-way check valve in up here. So I'm getting ready to do a mechanical lubricator on this one, and we'll get it done and hooked up and see how that works out. So anyway, finally got a chance to get this cleaned up a little bit again, and this little engine run really good. Got a nice little hydrostatic lubricator on it. Seems to be working good. Still got to do some governor work on it. This one's one I got from Tony. It's flawless. It works really good. And anyway, more to do. Always more to do, but having fun, enjoying it, and we're going to keep at it. So boiler done good. No issues, no problems. So can't complain about today. All right. Appreciate everybody watching. Till next time. Bye.